Okay, this has been a full day for all kinds of reasons. We discovered the bombs went off at the Boston Marathon today, and it was tax day, and all kinds of weird things happen. And I discover I have the wrong glasses with me, so I'm going to make do without. I needed, of all the things I needed to review, I certainly need at the top of my list to finish reviewing very quickly the Brahms First Sonata, because I didn't play it at all yesterday, and it's important that I get to it. So this is the fourth movement. And not very good. So this piece requires, it makes lots of physical demands, and you have to be particularly smart about how you move around so that you don't stiffen up. And I'm finding that there's a greater effort than I felt recently. I'm going at it raw after a couple of days, and I'm not being that thoughtful about it. In other words, I'm not being light enough in gesture or defined enough. I think, in particular, when I'm like here, when I'm going to a chord that I'm not 100% sure of, there's a tendency to stiffen up ever so slightly and to sort of guide the arm forcefully rather than allow it to indulge in the most comfortable choreography, put it that way. So it's important for me to recognize that flailing away at the piano is not in my best interest, and it's particularly important. It's a point I make when I'm teaching, that if you're cold, if you haven't warmed up well, if your body is not optimized, or your mind also is not optimized for a peak experience, then you have to be that much smarter about making allowances, taking more time, being lighter, being more observant about what you have to do. So I'm going to actually start over again to see if this particular page, if I can do it in a more considered fashion. It may not be as fast, it may not be as intense, but what's important is that under these circumstances that I find a way of hooking into how to optimize this particular experience. So here goes. So too much of expectation. Let's try that again. I should know that better. It's typically, in these circumstances, the bass. D resolving to the G. Well, I will last forever there if I just keep on going. And that's somehow what I was not aware of. Actually, I was aware. discovered to my astonishment that I had written a different fingering, 3, 4, 5, 4, 1. And wouldn't you know it, it works better. So that's one example of trying too hard to rely on the sort of vaguer recollection of what you learned as opposed to going to the source and seeing what you discovered. So that works in all those places. Yeah. See? So. It's just a single chord, and it's probably 3-1. If I can start from something that really guarantees a sense of ease. 2, 3. Once again. 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 3. ADAH Brahms. makes sense. A lot of it is linear. Fine, okay, not so okay. So there are subtleties in what Brahms chooses to do to make things come out right, and that's not always easily memorable. This is like, because of the unique gesture in the bass of the right hand, that I have to separate out in my thought. That's how it works. Doesn't sound bad. I know I'm playing the right harmony. So it's mostly about the voicing of these chords. It's not here. Actually, the right hand there is much more predictable. Harmonies in Bartok. Part of the G7 with the C as a pedal point. There we go. It's always better to have an explanation than just to feel there's an arbitrariness in what the composer chords that traverse the whole range of the piano. I'm just going to finger these. I think it's too complicated. staying relaxed. Simplifying what I ask of myself helps. Then the right. And weirdly enough, when the right is playing the melody, the left hand is making its biggest effort. And I look at the left hand. The next note up. Oh, but it is this position. They're both this position, and I've missed them both, and I've thought about them both as having second fingers rather than third, and lower thirds rather than upper thirds. It's actually with the third. You can swing your hand better. Well, but you can also miss better. Bad idea. I think I have to approach the keys rather than coming out. Yeah. All the way up. Just look at those thumb notes. Very, very messy. It's a cumbersome movement. It's hard, and it needs the performer to be absolutely above a sense of effort. There's so much potential effort that can lock you up. It's not a dense movement. It's the opposite of dense, in fact. It's much less dense than the first movement. But it's constant in its demands, and I have to be much more careful tomorrow when I review, and I really have to start thinking, okay, I'm in polish mode as opposed to hasty reviewing. And things that get in the way, as we know, always get in the way. Taxes got in the way, other things, recital attendance got in the way. Our Bach Festival coming up this weekend will get in the way. But in general, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the fact that I'll be able to look with much greater intensity at this material. So I'm going to stop here, take a brief break, and go back to Bartók Dance Suite.